What happened in Minneapolis wasn't just a shooting, it was a stress test of American power. A woman, Renee Nicole Good, was shot and killed by an ICE agent during a federal operation. Video shows her vehicle reversing, moving forward, shots fired, a crash into parked cars. Minnesota's state investigators were then pushed out after the FBI kept the evidence. Those are the hard, on-paper facts. Everything else became a scramble for narrative custody. Federal officials declaring self-defense and domestic terrorism, local officials calling that story garbage, and the public trapped between two microphones turned all the way up. Stop the tape. Ask one question. Who owns the truth? Because whoever owns the truth owns you. Two stories, one event. Federal power says she weaponized the car, defensive shots, domestic terrorism. Local power says the video contradicts that. Reckless force. Get out of our city. Both sides watched the same footage. Both sides claimed certainty before the investigation could breathe. And the key move came fast. Control the evidence, control the story, control the people. When the FBI takes the evidence and the state can't even look inside the vault, that's not just bureaucracy, that's ownership. That's what ownership looks like in the realm of truth. The file is not yours, the timeline is not yours, the conclusions are not yours. The truth is rented to you in press conferences, and the rent is due in outrage. Here's the part almost no one will say out loud. Neither camp actually wants ICE investigated with ruthless accuracy. One side risks exposure if self-defense wilts under scrutiny. The other risks losing political leverage if the footage cuts the other way. In a narrative economy, accuracy is expensive, certainty is cheap, control is priceless. The deeper pattern. This isn't only about immigration or policing. It's the same pattern you see in concentrated power everywhere. Control the inputs, data, evidence, accounting. Declare the outputs, press lines, dashboards, what the video really shows. Monopolize the interpretation so the public can't arbitrate the truth. They can only inherit it. When power is centralized, truth becomes property. And when truth is property, the public becomes a tenant, evictable at will. Where OBP fits and where it doesn't. Ownership-based pay, OBP, does not rewrite criminal procedure. It does something more foundational. It reprograms the culture of power by putting ownership into the hands of the people who create value. In a wage-only model, the worker builds the house and sleeps on the porch. The enterprise is a black box. Decisions, margins, risks, rewards, all owned elsewhere. The worker gets a summary, a slogan, a trust us. That is how a population gets trained to accept narrative as truth. If you spend 40+ hours a week inside a system where truth lives upstairs and you live downstairs, don't be surprised when your government feels the same. OBP flips the default. Workers hold equity, share in profits, gain line of sight into performance, and acquire formal voting power on the rules that govern their livelihoods. Ownership begets transparency. Transparency begets accountability. Accountability begets consent that is real, not ceremonial. The culture learned at work, seeing the books, voting the rules, sharing the upside, bleeds into civic expectations. Owners don't tolerate black boxes. Owners don't beg for summaries. Owners don't rent the truth. But let's be precise. OBP doesn't automatically fix government. Government requires its own architecture of ownership. OBP changes the people. It creates citizens who know how ownership feels and what accountability smells like. Those citizens become allergic to locked vaults and prepackaged narratives. They demand governmental structures that look like what they live at work. Shared stakes, auditable facts, distributed control. Structural ownership in government, what it actually means. If OBP is the template for the economy, structural ownership is the template for the state. Here's the translation. No fluff, just mechanisms. Default to disclosure evidence. Evidence produced by public authority is presumptively public. Release deadlines are automatic. Redactions are narrow, reviewable, and appealable by citizen bodies, not only by agencies. Chain of custody logs are published in real time. If you act in our name, the record you generate belongs to us. Independent, elected oversight investigators, auditors, and inspectors general with budgets locked by voter-ratified formulas, untouchable by the entities they scrutinize. Multi-key access so no single office can freeze an inquiry. Think of it as a public safety deposit box. It takes the citizen's key to open it every time. Citizens standing with teeth when agencies withhold evidence or issue provably false public claims. Citizens have standing to compel production and trigger penalties, not symbolic hearings, enforceable consequences that escalate automatically when deadlines are missed. Distributed jurisdiction, no more single gatekeeper control. In cases that cross levels of government, state and local investigators cannot be removed by fiat. Parallel jurisdiction is a feature, not a bug, to prevent one power center from defining reality alone. Operational transparency rules voted by the public. The people don't just vote for personalities, they vote for procedures, release calendars, body cam retention windows, audit cadence, disclosure formats. Make the rules of truth a ballot question, not a press release. Civic dashboards with primary data. Publish the raw, privacy-safe data streams that drive official narratives. If you can graph it in a briefing, we can graph it at home. Give the public the ingredients, not just the plated dish. None of this requires picking a partisan team. It requires picking the people, and then wiring the institutions so the people cannot be locked out when the story matters most. Back to Minneapolis. Apply those rules to the ICE shooting and watch what changes. The videos, logs, and radio traffic publish on a clock to the extent legally permissible. Parallel investigative teams, federal and state, retain real-time access. Any unilateral attempt to wall off evidence lights up a public dashboard and starts an automatic review. Press conferences become interpretations of shared facts, not monopolies on private facts. The crowd doesn't have to scream to be heard. The system is already listening because the system is owned. When both sides know they cannot own the truth exclusively, narrative warfare loses its oxygen. The argument becomes narrower, saner, closer to reality, because the cost of lying goes up and the benefit goes down. Will OBP alone do this? No. OBP is not the government fix, it's the citizenship fix. It builds a nation of owners who expect what owners expect: visibility, voice, and value. Give a country OBP at scale and you will not recognize its politics 10 years later, not because a law changed in DC, but because people changed everywhere. Economically secure, information-literate owners are hard to scare and impossible to herd. They will demand the public sector counterpart to what they already live: structural ownership. The choice. America can keep renting the truth, one press conference at a time, obedient to whoever holds the microphone. Or we can build a country where the truth is owned by the people who bear its consequences. That means OBP in the economy and structural ownership in government. Ownership below, ownership above. One culture, two domains, same principle. If you don't own it, it will be used against you. If you do own it, it is forced to answer to you. A republic cannot survive when truth is property of the powerful and the people only own the fallout. This is Citizen T, Forge the Future. OBP is the way. The republic needs you.